Hi, it's Katie and Dusty, and we are here to tell you about how we paid off $60,000 in debt in 1 year. In August of last year, we kind of decided that it was getting out of hand with how much money we owed versus how much money was coming in. And we kind of took a look at how much we owed in medical bills because our son was in the NICU for 2 months, and we had a lot in student loans and some other things. And so we decided that we are really going to go hard at declaring war on debt. So the very first thing that we decided to do is that we needed a budget. And a budget isn't something that tells you what you can't do, it tells you what you can do. And I took on the responsibility of creating the budget. I went out and I looked for a bunch of different things online, tried to download other budgets, I tried apps. None of it really worked for me, so I just decided to create my own budget. In my online course, I show you that budget, I give you that budget, and I give you an example of the budget, and I give you a blank budget. So I highly recommend you taking this online course. I've already done all the legwork for you. So definitely take this course. It's only $10. I made it as budget friendly as possible. I try to think about how much I would pay for it, and that's what I put the amount as. First thing I did is I checked out what expenses that we had. We had, anything from the water bill all the way to your cable bill. And I started to take out what we didn't need. Lots of other things like the electricity bill, we searched around and tried to find a better deal for.
One thing when it comes to paying bills that too many people do is when they go to pay their bills, there's just not enough money there. And what Katie did a really good job of is putting a number to our bills, putting an expected amount, and getting a handle on that, what we would pay exactly every month. And she actually set up our bank accounts in that way too. We have one bank account for what we can spend, the money that's there for everyday expenses. But we also have a separate bank account called the bill account. And with the bill account, she takes out the amount of money that's expected. Obviously there's some fluctuating to that number. At the very least, take an educated guess at the amount of money that you can allocate for bills each month. Then you'll at least have a step up on everyone else who's paying their bills by looking at their bank account number and saying, can I handle that? By having the separate accounts, the money is untouchable. I have no card that goes to the bill account. I have no check that goes to the bill account. The bill account is separate. And as far as I'm concerned, that money's gone. And that's the way everybody should be thinking. So we have our regular checking account, the billing account, and then of course our savings account. Another thing that we did is we decided that a good way for us to pay off this debt would be, even though we're a 2-income family, we decided to live as if we were a 1-income family. We live, everyday expenses, bills, savings, it all comes from one income. And then the other income, just like the bill account, is spoken for. And the second income is all going towards debt reduction and paying off our debt. And that's one of the ways we were able to do it so quickly.
So the next thing you need to do is assess the debt. Assess who you owe, figure out how much you owe, and is there an interest rate? If you don't pay it, is there a payment penalty? How long can you not pay it for? How long have you not been paying it? Have the interest payments added up? And it's really important to know who you owe, how much you owe, and get that all in one space so you can have a better scope of how much you owe and who you owe.
And it's really important to understand how the loans are put together. There's a lot of loans and there's a lot of situations where you can actually put the loans into a deferment period. There's a lot of time that I was paying interests without knowing I shouldn't have been paying interest. And it's all about just knowing all the information on the loans. And also you have to understand that if your loan especially has gone from the original loaner to a debt collector, the number that's on the bill that they send you is not the number you're going to pay if you don't want to. The number that I know, one of the big ones that we had was about $1,500, $2,000. And it's one of those that 10 years went by penalties accrued, and it just kept getting bigger and bigger and bigger. And before you know it, when I looked at it, it was a $23,000 loan. After only taking out $1,500, and that's not uncommon. That's the way these companies work. But the cool thing is, the debt collectors don't expect to get their money from you. So when you call them, they don't know how to handle that a lot of times. So when I called them, I just told the guy, I said, hey, I'm going to make this the easiest case you're going to close today. I have this much money, and you can close it. I'm not paying you $23,000. I'm going to pay you the original amount that was borrowed, and I walked away happy because $23,000 in our big debt number disappeared. And that guy got to close the loan, or close the debt collected, without doing any work at all. He was smiling, I promise you. And it was over with on our end.
And that rolled off our credit. I mean, it made our credit score skyrocket. And I mean, it just helped us out so much just by making that phone call and asking, instead of getting a bill in the mail and thinking, I can't pay this, and just continue to not pay it. Calling them and getting that large amount of debt reduced from our bottom line was huge, monumental for us. So it's very important that you negotiate on some of these large debts that you owe and see if there's any way that you can reduce it or get out of it by paying a lump sum like we did. The next thing you're going to want to do is pay and pay and pay. Figure out how much you can pay each debtor and pay as much as you can. Start with the smallest loan or smallest amount of debt first, and then go all the way to the largest. Every time that you pay off a loan, you feel so much better, and you gain more momentum and more motivation in declaring your war on debt.
Yeah, and the easiest thing to do is to work your butt off and get half of this stuff paid off. And then it feels so good that you quit. And I know that there were points when we started this whole thing and we got, 4 or 5 months into it, where I was down because I felt like we were broke all the time. And Katie got down on herself, even with all this work she did, and she brought me the budget of the last month. And when I looked down at the bottom, the huge number that was next to debt paid off, I had to circle it and hand it to her and say, are you kidding me? We're doing great. It may feel like we're broke for a while, but the feeling that we're going to have once this is over with, and once we can roll into the new year with no debt whatsoever, I'm all in. We can do this. We've already come this far, and it doesn't even feel like we sacrificed that much. Okay, so we're talking about Christmas now. For us, we're Christmas people, and we spend more money than maybe we should, but we've decided that that's important to us. We are really family-oriented people, so since we've decided that's important, Katie has designed a system that prevents us from heading into each new year in January in the red. Right now, we have a savings account that she set up that has us ready for Christmas, and when it's time for Christmas, it doesn't come out of those accounts I discussed earlier. It doesn't come out of the savings account, the bill account, our regular checking account. It comes out of a completely different place, and it's money that we've pretended does not exist. We can never touch. That's not emergency money. It has a purpose. Every dollar we have has a purpose.
Lastly, I think it's pretty important to have a monthly budget meeting. Most of the time, I just kind of throw my little budget at Dusty and say, check this out. Have any questions, let me know. But is that true?
That's true. I'm going to break in, and this is, she talks about her course, and this is the most important part. The template that she's put together, okay, I did good. I got an A in accounting, but that does not mean that I read forms like she reads forms. This form is so user-friendly that you can look at it in a glance, even though it's covered with numbers and information. In a glance, give me 1 minute, and I know exactly how every bit of our finances are working. And if yours are like ours, there's a lot of moving parts. But what she has set up, I know exactly where we stand every single month. And these little monthly meetings she's talking about, like she said, she throws it at me. It's a State of the Union. And it's right there on one sheet of paper, not 8. and it tells me everything we need to know, and we can move forward from there. I'm never out of the loop. If I didn't have any hand whatsoever in our financial planning in the month of May, it didn't matter, because at the end of May, I know exactly where we stand for June.
So thank you for tuning in. I hope we were very informative, and I hope that you are able to be as successful as we were in our war on debt. And good luck to you all in paying off all of your debt. If you need any help, please send me an email. I'll put all the information in the description of this video. And please take my online course. It will help you. It will be informative. And I give you assignments. It is self-paced. It never expires. And your money is back guaranteed if you are unsatisfied. Bye!